If you've been considering adding supplementary videos to your classroom, but you're not really sure what approach to take to them, I have 5 ideas for how to use videos in this way that can really benefit your students, but are really easy to create as well. So hey there, this is Erica from Ever Educating, and this channel is teaching tips, tools, ideas, and resources for new college instructors. Now I use videos all the time in my classroom, especially in later years, and the first way I used it is for assignment sheets. So you're going to have 3 or 4 class periods a semester where you're introducing a major project, most likely. And a lot of times, at least a few students will be absent on that day. And so what I do is I record myself going over the assignment sheet. So just a screen recording, and I talk through the assignment sheet on the video and record that. Yes, I still do it in person as a regular class, but for those who are absent, or for those who weren't paying attention closely enough, or for those who just want some more information, they can use that video to learn about the project as well. So that way, as I go over it vocally, right, not just have the text that I give them and that's call it a day, they can see maybe I say a couple hints here or there, or I give ideas in addition to the hypotheticals that I usually put in my instruction sheet already. So I find this to be very helpful because students can rely on it if they were absent, but also if they just want to, cross-check something before they ask me a question about the project. I also recommend having a video on library database usage. So research is very important in the courses that I taught, likely in yours as well. And a lot of students are unfamiliar with how to use library databases, or they use it in a very simple way that doesn't take advantage of all the filters that it has and all the benefits it has on the database site. So I have a video where I say, okay, here you go to the library website and you go to the databases. Here's one that's really commonly used. And then now you put the term in the search box. Now you get all these results. So go to the sidebar, look for full text ones, look for ones published in the last 5 to 10 years. You can look for one specifically in a specific journal if you recognize the name of it. When you go to it and you click in, here's where you kind of permalink for it. Here's where you can find a ready-made citation in the style we're using. You'll double check it because sometimes there's issues. So I really just go step by step through how to use the library database to do research in ways that are more helpful to the student than what they might be using already. And so I have this resource on my class website, and I just tell them, hey, you need help with the databases? Watch this video. Again, I'll do this in class too at least once, but I think having it for them to turn to for each major project could be really helpful for them. And then you can also use this approach for general college life skills as well. So not just a database usage, but maybe how to annotate your readings, how to take good notes in class, how to do a good outline for a paper so you have a good structure, whatever the case may be, and depending on what you're teaching. I have a few videos I'll link below that's actually targeted to college students. And I also have a video more about this particular hint, so I'll link that below too. But to keep it simple, are there certain college skills that would really be helpful for them to have a strong foundation for your class? Maybe create a video about it to help them out. This next one could take a bit more work, but my students have found it very useful, and that's to do small process videos for them. So for example, in my literature courses, students wrote short literary analysis posts as part of one of the major projects. And what I did is I used one of the early poems we read, one that they couldn't write about for the assignment, and I recorded myself writing a literary analysis post about that poem. And so I'll be talking aloud while having the screen recorded. And I'd say, okay, so I read the poem, and I've decided that my argument is going to be about this element of the poem. So I write that down on a document. Okay, what quotes from the poem can support this argument? I'm going to find them, type them out, put the line number next to them in MLA. All right, I have my quotes ready as well. Now I'm going to start writing the post. And so I'd write for a little bit in silence, type it out, and then I pause and say, okay, starting from the beginning, I wrote this sentence first. Here's my topic sentence. This is why I did this, because I want to make sure that it's clear that this is my paragraph's going to be about. And then after that, I transition into mentioning my first quote, and then I start analyzing it. So then I just go through and explain my writing. And I write a little more to wrap up the paragraph, for example. Okay, now I have the whole thing, talk about the second half, and maybe wrap up with some discussion as well. So it's literally just going through the process of creating this post, and then I share it with my students. Hey, you're not really sure how to approach this assignment? Watch me do it on one of the poems we read together. And a lot of students have said, this is really helpful to see, your approach to this, because I didn't even realize that I should collect my quotes beforehand. I'm like, well, you don't have to. I just find it to be more efficient that way, right? And so they get a different idea of how to approach the assignment. And so I find that helpful if you have like a small, quick thing that you can show students how you do it. It could be helpful for them in many ways. So, and that was a longer video, probably about 15 to 20 minutes, but still, something that I thought was helpful because it just press record, talk, press end, right? Nothing big editing-wise for that type of video either. And then you could also create video examples of projects. So for example, in one of my classes, it ended with a presentation. So they either present their final paper or they could present a topic in connection to what they were researching. And so in this case, I created quick PowerPoints for each type of presentation, and then I screen recorded myself giving that presentation, right, as if I was a student. So it had to be between 4 and 5 minute presentation. So I did that, and again, I posted those videos to the class website. So they can see, okay, well, how did I approach designing my slides? How many slides did I have? How did I, flow from one to the other? That kind of thing. So they knew, like, okay, like, here's one approach to creating this project. And I made clear there could be other approaches, but just to have a mentor text, if you want it, here it is. So that can be helpful as well. And then a little bonus tip, these are all screen recorded. So it makes the editing very easy. You click play, you record, you click pause, and now it's saved. I have a video below using iMovie, which is free in case you want to see editing there. But potentially, if you're teaching an asynchronous online class, face videos, right, where you're actually on camera, could be really helpful to strengthen your teacher presence. So in this case, it requires more editing because you'll be turning on the camera and turning it off, and so you probably want to edit that out. But this could be really helpful as well to kind of show students like, oh, this is a live person behind the screen, and be a bit more personable with them, maybe introduce each week on camera and talk about what's coming up. That can be a way of doing it. But this is more if you're not visibly present in your usual teaching of this course. So a little bonus tip there. I hope you found these helpful. If you did, click like and let me know, and subscribe for more teacher content.